but I'm so happy to be here. And it's 11:03. So let's just go ahead and get started by taking a few deep breaths before we hop in. So go ahead and close your eyes. Sit upright. Get on your sits bone, right at your tailbone, and elongate your neck as if you're being pulled up by your chin and the back of your neck. Really elongate our spine and take one big deep breath in, feeling that fill up our stomach, our throat, and just release it out. Be with an audible sigh, move around, and just allow yourself to get comfortable where you're at. Welcome, my name is Christy Berganzi. I am an energy master, Reiki master, energy healer, a certified transformation life coach, a spiritual leader, and an activation method practitioner specializing in soul activation. I love what I do, and I love to share my knowledge and healing with you all. I came to a point in my life after 20 years of healing others. I had a huge desire to want to teach others how to heal themselves. It's wonderful having some place that you can go to work through all of your energy blocks and what's going on with you, but it's even more empowering when you can do it yourself. So at the end of today, I invite you, if you are interested, I will briefly go over, I have a 9-week course. It's a group program working with me directly twice a week for 9 weeks to transform your life. It's named Soul Compass Codes. So if you are interested, stay afterwards. I'm just going to touch on it a bit and drop in the link to it. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So I did some intuitive channeling last night, and what came to mind for me through channeling with my guides is they wanted to bring more of the spirituality. We've talked a lot about the physical body. We're going to be touching on the mental body tomorrow, emotional. But why are we really here? A lot of us are here because we want a foundation of just knowing what spirituality is all about. So I was guided to write down some basic stuff, also stuff that people, society, maybe doesn't want you to know, because we as a whole, as human beings, don't feel comfortable stepping out of our comfort zone that we've created. So I want to just any myths or any basic information that came to me through channeling last night, I want to extend to you all before we hop into the mental, because this is the fun stuff right here. So you may or may not know, but more people are spiritually curious than you think. People don't want to be judged, so they avoid outwardly showing their spiritual interests. But that doesn't mean that they don't have them. And if you know anyone that's been in a bind type of situation, even as someone that doesn't believe in energy beyond our physical form, all of a sudden we start asking for some help, right? So I noticed in my life when I started bringing up that I am a channeler and a psychic intuitive medium, I held back. But once I started saying it out loud to people, the reaction was more curiosity. People are curious. They're not necessarily judgmental. And if they are, then they're judgmental about everything. So here we go. Let's see. Let me just hop out. It's not switching over. Sorry, guys. Let me stop screen sharing. Oh, there it goes. Okay. We all are intuitive. Understanding ways to open up the channel to your intuition is not difficult. People think it's difficult. People also think that you have to be born with a gift, and you absolutely do not have to. If you have a gut feeling or anything that's telling you um, maybe which way to turn, or you think about a friend and then they call, that's all intuition. So at our core, we live in intuition, and we are never alone. We are fully supported on the other side. We live in a physical 3D world, and the 5D world, which is energetics, energy does not die, is right here with us, around us. It's simple to tap in. The spiritual world is so respectful of us that they don't like to meddle unless it's necessary, but they are always available to us if we simply ask. And you may or may not have known, but we all do have a primary spirit guide that came with us at birth. We also have a doorkeeper for our protection of who comes in and out of our spiritual and energetic field. We call that our aura, our energetic field. So we always have a doorkeeper or a protector guide. And we also have a chemist, and that deals with our vibration and our chemicals in our body, our physical body, but the way our energetic system works. So we always have 3 guides with us at any given time. Now, we can ask for more guides. I'm going on this venture to branching my company out. So I called in teacher guides, business guides, and I asked them to join me on the process of my journey. And I started to receive names. If you start to listen, they will tell you. So now I know the names of who has hopped on board to help me. You also have animal guides for protectors. Mine is a horse. I worked with clients who have had wolves, fox, horse, owl comes up quite a bit. So it's interesting if you work with someone who knows how to tap into that, you can find your spirit animal guide, which is amazing. And we all have access to angels. Angels are always around us. Angels have never been on this 3D plane before. Spirit guides have. Now, going back to spirit guides, they have trained to be guides. It's unlikely that a loved one that has crossed over to the 5D is your spirit guide, simply because they haven't trained in the lessons that you came here personally, individually, when you chose to arrive here. They have not trained in being able to help you. So I find it so interesting. So there's a lot going on the other side that we simply haven't tapped into yet, if you don't know how to or who to ask. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the screen share. So I'm going to try it again to open up. Okay. I wonder, are we still streaming live? Goodness. I think we are streaming live. Well, if I cannot see you now if we are streaming live. So just keep that in mind, guys. Sorry about that. So going back to what we were talking about, people aren't as judgmental actually as we think. When people see you living in a place of balance, they tend to stop judging you. They look for easy targets. So you become out of their radar. You become so far out that they can't even reach you. It's like if they're driving a car and you're driving next to them and they're throwing rocks at you and you speed up and now they can kind of hit you, they're throwing rocks at you, but you might be a little too far up. That's you advancing in your vibration. And pretty soon, the more you work on yourself and elevate yourself, now imagine yourself in an airplane. those judgmental people, you're not even in their radar. It's as if they can't even see you, and they certainly can't reach you. And keep in mind, ladies, you are here for a reason. Otherwise, you would not be here. You chose to live this life to learn specific focus lessons. You chose to be born into the family that you're in because of what you want to learn and what they will teach you. I know we always say we choose our friends, not our family, but we choose our family before we get here because they help us learn the lessons that we wanted to focus on when we did get here. Your soul has imprints from the different ventures it's had in different lifetimes, but also when you acquire a physical body, your ancestral lineage, the physical body also has imprints. We all came here equipped with answers. The people born in our generation and our future generations are born with intuitive instincts to change the world. The light has become lighter, so that's us working on our vibration, and the dim becomes more impressionable and darker, unfortunately, unless they become more self-aware. So that's why you are feeling the urge and the calling to be more, do more, you feel something. It's because you know you're meant for more and you are equipped to elevate yourself to be more. Your fate is not sealed. We all have free will. You can change your future at any time. Your future solely is based on the energy and the momentum that you carry right now. So there are many different parallel options or choices that you can choose in your life. It is simply going off of your energy and momentum right now. So if you go to, say, a psychic or a medium and they tell you, this is what's going to happen. Well, that is what will happen if you continue on this path right now. But you have free will to change the trajectory of your life at any given moment. And that's simply by raising your vibration. Because when you become aligned to the life option that you choose and desire, it simply drops in, it waits, and it is available to you. We are limitless beings. We create human restricting beliefs. That's just human patterns and blocks for ourselves. We are blocking ourselves. As soon as we stop limiting ourselves is when we become limitless. So fear, anxiety, and depression, they don't have, they limit us, but that's our human self, not a spiritual self. And once you start to learn how to manage, embrace, and acknowledge our emotions, that's when you can release them and let them go. And change is actually easy. I know it doesn't feel like it, but it is really easy. It's really the true surrender required that's scary, but change itself is easy and you are worth it. Self-love and self-care, I can't emphasize this enough, is not a luxury. Self-love and self-care is not a luxury. Every time I channel, I am told, take care of yourself, carve out time for yourself. It's your birthright. And who we perceive as being our enemies, or people that rub us the wrong way or are out to get us, they're our biggest allies. We choose challenges to focus on in this lifetime on Earth. And that goes along with the people that we want to surround ourselves with. If you are tested by a person in life today, it's almost a guarantee that they are your biggest supporters on the other side. You wouldn't have chosen for them to encounter you and to be in your life if you weren't going to learn something from them. You don't have to like them here today, but on the other side, they're on your team. And we need them to learn those focus lessons. We learn as humans by doing. On the other side, we don't have those blocks. We don't have those limitations. So we need to come here to learn. And you are here to be your unique gifts, not just share them, but be them, live in that vibration. We spend most of our time trying to cover up who we are at the core. And that's our natural vibration. Who we are born with is the natural vibration that we along the way, we start to shift out of. So we need to strip everything, heal stuff, clear, and start relearning and reintroducing ourselves, our humans, back to our soul. The soul that my 5-year-old says, I can be anything, and he can. I say this all the time, but it's so true. He tells me, I had the best day ever today, mommy, and he did. He'll come up with an idea and he'll say, I am so brilliant. And he is. Why do we not, as adults, think that about ourselves? What happened? Most people hide themselves, and you don't have to hide. When you stop hiding who you become because you think that's what society wants you to be, you start to live a soul-driven life of true freedom. And being a part of a women's circle, I have found something new for me the last few years. It's so empowering. Life conditioning has taught us not to trust women, each other. But female compassion is unmeasurable. I had trust issues, but female compassion is unmeasurable, ladies. When you find comfort and feel the oneness and honesty among a group of women, whether it be a circle, a Facebook group, a membership of like-minded women, nothing else compares. You also have a soul code before you come here. It's our soul blueprint. It's who we're meant to be and who we're meant to become. We are programmed, and we've covered up that programming. And that is the 9-week Soul Compass Codes journey that I will be taking on my private clients. Again, I will put the link in the chat at some point for you guys to check out. So, okay, I just want to hop back over to Facebook to make sure everybody. Oh, okay, great. We're still going. Okay, so now let's go ahead and hop into the mental body. We covered physical in depth yesterday, so we are going to hop in right now to see what our mental body is doing to us, for us, with us, and how we can work with it to accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. So the mental body is the human mind. This follows after tapping in, like we did yesterday, to the physical body. We're always looking to find the root cause of anything. When you're healing, when you're working on yourself, when you want to be better, you have to break free from your blocks. And we can't break free from the most recent block that's layered upon the root, the foundation of where that block started. So within the mental body, we can use many different types of techniques. I'll teach them all to you in the Soul Compass Codes program, but today we will use visualization. It's super powerful, and then we will follow it by witnessing and reframing. So keep in mind that what we deal with today really is from, like I said, something most likely in the way past. It could even be from a past life. If you don't believe in past lives, it was probably from when you were 3, 4, or 5. And it doesn't have to be a traumatic experience to make an imprint on you and for you to mentally attach a meaning. Emotions don't mean anything until you attach a meaning to it. Then we create our belief systems at that moment, and that all happens on the mental level. So If a long time ago, I'll give you an example of a bully bullying you, and you choose to not speak up for yourself because then you decide in that moment it's fight or flight. I have to survive. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm choosing to shut down in order to keep yourself safe. Now, that belief system got created because we are mentally hardwired. We are primal beings. We are wired to survive and to be safe. So now, today, you might be frightened to say no to people. You might have noticed you became a people pleaser and you didn't really notice it because you felt it, you just are that way. Or maybe you think that, oh, I'm just a good person. I'm sure you're a great person. But people pleasing is actually a self-serving act. I figured that out. I thought I was trying to make people happy, but I was just trying to avoid conflict. Right? So you also, in that moment, back when that bully on the schoolyard came into your life and you chose to be quiet, you created a space with no boundaries. So now, today, your boundaries are probably tested and probably are not respected because we don't want to correct people. We see this as challenging people. And we don't want to have to defend ourselves, right? We don't want to have to give reasons why. And guess what? We don't have to. No one has to. I just learned this past week, and no one has to, and no one will get you. They will not fully understand you. And you don't have to make excuses or explain anything to anyone. But we think we do because we've created that belief system and we didn't even know that this is happening. So our voice so long ago went away and now it's hard to find it again. It requires reprogramming. And it shows up in so many ways because now you have this emotional attachment along with a belief, and this fear holds you back. It keeps you stuck in your comfort zone because it feels unsafe to our nervous system to do otherwise. So you continuously limit yourself because that's safe. Your mind would rather you be safe than adventurous. How many times do you want to go do something and you don't for whatever reason? Our subconscious holds us back. Our mind has programmed our body and our subconscious to not venture out of its comfort zone. So you might see yourself as a giver, but usually you giving is just to appease the world around you so you feel more comfortable. And you had no idea you are a good person and you thought you were just doing good things when in reality, it's a little bit selfish. I didn't consider myself selfish until I realized what I was doing. So what happens in the brain is we begin to form neural networks. Those are fixed pathways, which continuously keep us playing small because they're fixed and we haven't done anything to change that. It was created by fear. And do you want to live your life in fear and you didn't even know it? The prime directive of the unconscious mind, so the brain that we're working with, not the intuitive mind, the brain, is to keep us safe. So in order for us to show up in our life, we need to show ourselves to the world. But we don't really want to do that because we don't want to be judged. So today, in visualizing your healing, which we will get into, you'll then have access to attach a positive lesson to it. And it's these lessons that our soul brought us here for. And it's these lessons that we want to override our fixed mental state of being to new, more positive, light, higher vibration. So by detaching the emotion and reframing the belief into a new one, that starts to shift into a new reality. In the Soul Compass Codes, I teach a soul shifting activation method. We take one block at a time and chip away. But today we're going to do a little visualization, a little mini exercise that will start to get you to see what we're really talking about in the healing process. You can't transform until you heal. And you can't change until you heal. And it takes consistency. You don't always have to be living the way you're living now on autopilot. There is a way out, and it starts from within at your soul level. All of these 4 pillars of the soul that I'm talking about this week in the spirituality springboards, the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, are foundations that house our soul, our inner energy. So if you learn how to work with all of these different 4 bodies that we're housed in, how easy will life become? Waking up in gratitude becomes just the way you live. Because you understand yourself more. So you know what your bus looks like. And now you ask your soul to start driving instead of your ego. It's taking your power back. And instead of being a victim of your circumstances, we all love to be victims. We don't have to be. You can become empowered, and no one has to get it. No one has to understand. You're here for a reason. And if you want change, people are going to maybe not get it. They don't have to get it. People want you to stay stuck where they are because they're safe. You don't have to play safe anymore. So here's a breakdown of the process that we're going to be doing. The first step is activating your higher mind. And we do that by first acknowledging our ego. I spoke about this before in my meditations. Anytime you meditate, right before, write down anything that's on your mind. Otherwise, your ego will keep interrupting. So without doing this, acknowledging your ego, it's like a child. Once it's heard, it kind of moves on. Okay, so your ego is your child that usually is driving the bus, but we want to put your ego in the back and start living a soul-led life. So your ego will block you from activating your higher mind. It will get in the way unless you acknowledge it. It wants to be heard. Your ego also likes logic. It wants to make sense of everything. But your intuition doesn't need to make sense. Your intuition is what naturally guides you if you listen. And that you see those people that live free and you think, oh my God, they've got no care in the world. They do care, and there are cares. They just don't see it the same way you might today. You don't have to see it that way tomorrow. Your ego is trying to protect you. You think your ego is driving you to succeed and be successful, when really it is trying to keep you safe. It's safe, and it does hold you back. And it won't allow you to connect into receiving inspired action, which is your intuition, soul, because it does not feel safe. It can't predict what an intuitive action or thought is going to do. So it's going to try to stop that immediately. So what does this mean? This means our ego tries to keep our soul separate. This means when you have that gut feeling telling you like there's something more to life than this, that was your soul, your energy, the essence of your inner being telling you there is more to life than this. Your ego might try to shove it down, and it keeps coming back. I want to learn more. I think I want to be happier. I want to, if you're a mom and you're so bogged down with working and being a mom, you have no time for yourself. That's not living a soul-led life. And your soul is trying to tap in and tell you something. Once you start listening to yourself, you start living a life that you want to. And it's just a matter of learning the tools, the spiritual skills, and the practical tools to implement those into your life. It's a soul-led life by design. And I can teach you the steps, the skills, the tools. Those are easy. It's your inner essence that will guide you and fuel you throughout the entire way. So the way that we acknowledge our ego is either to write them down, like I said, or we can, in our mind, go through them, sit down quietly, acknowledge them, allow them to come up, and then send them away. So this is so important that you don't avoid this process, because you may think that it is fluff, right? But it's so important that you acknowledge your ego. So if you have a pen and paper, I would love for you to bring it out right now. And let's acknowledge our ego. So the first question is, what is on your mind right now? Right now, what's on your mind? You can even type it in the chat if you want. So after that, how does that make you feel? Good, bad, happy, sad? Usually our ego is either trying to pump us up or break us down. So how does that make you feel on whatever's on your mind? Now, what is your fear? What is your fear today? Write that down. What's your fear? Is anything bothering you today? Write it down. And most importantly, what is holding you back? What's holding you back on a bigger scale from you getting what it is that you desire? Really think about it. What's holding you back? And then let's go a little further. If you were here on Monday, the process of getting to, what does that mean for you? What are you making that mean? So what's holding you back? And then what does that belief look like for you? I gave the example of, I won't have time to do all of the work I want to get done today because that'll take away from my son. Well, what am I making that mean? Well, if I'm not around my son, devoting all of my extra time, and that makes me not a good mom. Well, what am I making that mean? Well, if I'm not a good mom, I'm not doing a good job. And then my husband will think you're not a great mom. And then maybe he will not spend as much time with you. Well, what am I making that mean? Well, then maybe everyone will want to be around me because I'm not that great. What am I making that mean? Right? This is a process. Well, I don't want to be alone. There it is. So get to that place and feel that feeling, because we're going to go into a little meditation here, a little visualization to really get to the root of it. Okay. So go ahead, and I would love for you to close your eyes. Please play along with me. Close your eyes. And just get comfortable once again. Relax. Okay. Now, once you're comfortable, allow any thoughts to come up for you. Anything we just wrote down, allow them to come to you. With your eyes closed and a soft forehead, allowing your scalp to just release. your throat to relax, your shoulders to drop down. Just allow these thoughts to come into your mind and envision these thoughts then going into clouds, passing right by you. Allow the thought to come in, acknowledge it with no judgment, and allow it to pass through. Listen to your thoughts and place them in clouds. You might be in an open meadow, blue sky with the clouds passing. You might be at the beach, wherever your safe place is. Just imagine yourself there and allowing these thoughts to come up and release. And as you do this, I want you to tap into that feeling that you wrote about. What is that feeling that is holding you back in life today? What is in between you and where you want to go? Now let's take our mental out of this and feel. What does that feel like to have that block? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel heavy? My heart is racing a little bit. Are you feeling anything physically in your body? Feel into that. When you allow that feeling to overcome your body, tap into when was the first time you felt that feeling? Immediately, your mind will probably go there. Where were you? Allow yourself to be dropped into this space. Where were you? Look around. And trust and know that this is all right for you. You are safe. Look around. Feel this feeling that you have. You felt it back then. Who's with you? What do you hear? Do you smell anything? What are you thinking? Take it all in. Someone telling you something? Are you getting in trouble? What's going on? Now, I want you to, in this visualization, allow your energy and essence to lift higher above this scenario. So you can visually see yourself at the age that this is happening to you. And almost like a movie, you can see it happening as you're drifting higher and higher above to witness. Now that you can see this from a higher perspective, whatever is happening around you, tap in. Where's that person or place or thing coming from? Are they coming from a place of fear? Keeping your emotions out of it now, allowing your emotions to be placed in those clouds. Seeing the situation differently now, no judgment, no emotion. Without a negative feeling, what are you learning in this situation that you didn't see before? What are you understanding about the other people or the place that you're in that you didn't see before? You are detached emotionally now from this. Why did you choose to live this lesson? What positive thing can you take away from this? Now ask yourself, do you need to hold on to this any longer? As you travel back down through the clouds of thoughts, through the blue sky, back into that body of your visualization, Do you choose today to forgive and release? If so, allow all of that feeling, that energy, and that belief that you acquired in that moment to lift off of you into those clouds. Place all of the people in that visualization into bubbles. Witness your thoughts, the people, and the environment lifting off of you and into that blue sky, into those clouds as they pass by. As you continue to do this, I invite you to have your mind and your essence, your soul, start to reawaken into your physical body, but don't open your eyes yet. I want you to feel the weight of your physical body and feel from your very core, right at your heart chakra, the center of your chest, feel a white light vibration starting as a ball, getting bigger, breathing into that space. As you breathe in, this white power magnet of light gets bigger. As you breathe out, it expands into your body. As you breathe in, it gets bigger. As you breathe out, it expands outside of your physical body into your energetic field, into your aura. Now I invite your ego to join us and start to see that it doesn't have much to say anymore because we honored that part of you. We didn't pretend it wasn't there. As you begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, coming back to the physical space that you are in right now, how do you feel? How are you feeling? You can journal now. If you really got into this is extremely powerful. And I invite you to do this with a lot of your thoughts and beliefs. So now that we saw this feeling, this belief from a higher perspective, it's time to reframe. So let's get your pen and paper back out. You can always do this in the chat too. So we choose to see things differently now. Now you're on this life journey. You decided this path, and you always have the power to choose. You create your reality from this moment forward. So you probably will be starting to feel a shift already, and you will be surprised. All of this seems like not powerful in itself, but the accumulation is extremely powerful. And the things that we think are fluff are our foundation. And if you do this repetitively, that's when we start to create new pathways and new reprogramming. We want to get rid of the old and step into the new. So listen to any inspired action that might have come through and during your journaling that will come through. That's your higher perspective. That's your higher self. And we will go on a journey to meet her on Friday. So these are the questions I have for you now. What do you choose and want to feel instead? What did you gain without that emotion attached to it? What did you learn? What was the positive lesson you learned from this experience that you once thought you might have even forgot about it? And if you didn't, you probably didn't have a positive outlook on it. So what do you think now? Did you gain anything from it? Did you learn anything from it? And if so, what did you learn? And at minimum, you probably released a lot of emotion. So we're doing good there. So now what do you believe or what do you want to believe instead? What do you choose to believe instead? Right? Just maybe seeing it for what it was. I was doing the best I can. I could. I was this many years old. Maybe you see yourself as, wow, good for her. Good for her. She made it through that. Right? That itself gives you the strength to know, wow, we never reflect enough and give ourselves credit. Right? Who are you? You're a warrior. You really are. When you start shifting, you can see that. So how do you see the situation differently? You kind of have an understanding. Maybe everyone's coming from a different place. Maybe what you took so personally, maybe wasn't even a personal thing. You know, a lot of times it's not. People are outwardly responding to what's going on with them inwardly. So most of the time, you have nothing to do with how people treat you. You really don't. You just, as human beings, take everything so personal. I know I do. I did for so many years, and I still do. I try not to. And when I do, I take a look at it because we don't want to shove our emotions, our feelings down. So now, how do you want to start your day? How do you want to, we're starting today. How do you want the rest of your day to look? Listen for any intuitive hits. Do you have any guidance now that we're open? What's coming to you? What do you want? You know, let's take it one step further. What do you want in life? Who cares what happens in between now and then? What do you want? You can get it. You can. Do you want it? It's absolutely 1000% possible. I don't care what it is. Whatever you think you want, times that by 2, bigger, more. We all live in a individual vortex. So when we come here, it is embedded with different vibrational realities that you have at your fingertips at any given moment. All you have to do is line up your vibration. It's the law of vibration, and your mind, the law of attraction, working together. Once you hit that sweet spot in that thing you really, really desire, that person you really, really want to be, and then your vibration, that's why we call ourselves soul shifters. You shift your soul into a different vibration. You drop in. All of a sudden, it's called quantum leaping. All of a sudden, you're in a new reality when 5 minutes before, you weren't there. You just got to do the work to raise your vibration. You'll also notice that people, places, and things that you may once enjoyed no longer appeal to you anymore. If you are noticing that, even food, you have already started shifting your vibration just in this week that we've been together. And if you're catching this today as your first day, the replays are in your emails if you signed up for it, or you can scroll and see. Right? So I want to talk to you briefly. I won't get too far into it or too much into it about the 9-week Soul Compass Codes transformational journey that I am putting on. It actually starts on Valentine's Day. What a beautiful thing for you to give yourself, or you can tell your husband or your significant other, your wife, that you want to start taking care of yourself, and you've got a life to live, and you want to put yourself on your to-do list for once in your life. Start living your life outside of your mommy mask, outside of your whatever, your wife mask, and start stepping into and refining yourself at a soul level. The first 3 weeks, we go through human development and empowerment and how to work with ourselves as a human being, how to stop being a victim. And at the end of that 3-week period, that's the first third phase, it's a phase, we go into a deep dive into the soul activation process of soul shifting. That's when we will figure out our major blocks and we will hit them head on. We'll finish up the first phase that way. The second phase is our energetics and uplifting them. That is working with our chakras. Our body is an energy machine. Our physical body is just the form that is allowing us to move around and to touch things. But everything is vibration. So we really learn what people talk about with chakras and balancing. We'll learn how to tap into that entire system and how that can help us function better. And then the last phase is my favorite. That's the soul activating phase. And we start that by figuring out how we can become power magnets. We learn about all of the universal laws and how to work with them to work with us. So we can basically use them and start directing our life in a soul-driven way by just figuring out the formula and understanding how these different laws, which aren't actually laws, they're thoughts and suggestions, but they work. We figure out how to do that. We also tap in and do a soul activation where you will go into your hall of records. You will tap into your soul and you will find your personal soul code. These are downloads that you came here with that we've covered up so much. You'll probably even get an image. This image right here, my husband had made for me. This is the Soul Compass code. It got downloaded to me. So my husband made it for me in a necklace for me to wear throughout the whole 9-week journey, because that means something and it resonates. So you'll find your own coding. And within your coding is your purpose. You don't have to wait all your life to find your purpose, or maybe even wait all your life to figure out, I wish I tapped into myself a long time ago. You don't want to live your life without any regret or with regrets. I'm doing all of the scary things because guess what? The scary things are what makes me feel free and alive. And this 9-week Soul Compass Codes program takes you from not knowing what to do or how to do it through a healing process, to an understanding process, to awakening, to then activating. I promise everything I've learned over years, I packed into 9 weeks. 9 weeks, twice a week with me, and a group of women, that women's circle, that understand you, that won't judge you, that get you, full of support. So I look forward to hearing back from you how your journey has been this week so far. I do apologize for some of the computer hiccups. Hopefully it transferred over. If you have any questions, always direct message me or email me. You can respond to any email that I send out. And remember always to take every part of you with you, even the good or bad, every part of you with you, wherever you may go today. You are loved. You are on purpose. And I look forward to seeing who you become tomorrow. So until then, I am sending my love to you, and I will see you tomorrow when we learn more about our emotional body, how to tap into that. And we're going to learn how to do some emotional freedom technique tapping. It's amazing. You don't want to miss it. So I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.